Survivalism, as both a philosophy and a practice, has evolved over decades, shaped by social changes, technological advancements, and environmental challenges. Originally tied to preparations for extreme scenarios like nuclear wars or economic collapses, the movement today encompasses a much broader range of concerns and approaches. As we step into a new century marked by climate uncertainty, geopolitical instability, and technological revolutions, survivalism is reinventing itself. This video explores the future of this movement, highlighting emerging trends and innovations that are redefining how individuals and communities prepare to survive and thrive in an unpredictable world. 1. The rise of urban survivalism. Historically, survivalism was associated with rural settings, conjuring images of isolated bunkers and food stockpiles in remote areas. However, one of the most striking trends shaping its future is the growth of urban survivalism. With global urbanization reaching unprecedented levels, over 55% of the world's population lives in cities, according to the UN, with projections of an increase to 68% by 2050. Survivalists are adapting their strategies to densely populated environments. This shift brings unique challenges. Instead of vast expanses for farming or access to natural water sources, urban survivalists must contend with limited space, reliance on public infrastructure, and greater exposure to social crises, such as riots or power outages. Innovation here lies in the miniaturization and multifunctionality of gear. For instance, compact survival kits, like bug-out bags designed for small apartments, are gaining popularity. These kits include portable water filters, multi-tools, and freeze-dried foods that take up minimal space. Moreover, technology is playing a pivotal role. Survival apps that teach first aid techniques or map real-time evacuation routes are gaining traction among city dwellers. Online communities are also forming, enabling urban residents to share resources and plan collective responses to emergencies like blackouts or natural disasters. Urban survivalism thus reflects a trend of adaptation to modern realities, blending individual self-reliance with community collaboration. 2. Sustainability as a core pillar. Another defining trend in the future of survivalism is the integration of sustainability as a fundamental principle. Unlike past generations that focused on stockpiling finite supplies, modern survivalists are investing in systems that ensure long-term self-sufficiency. This reflects a shift in mindset. Rather than merely surviving a crisis, the goal is now to thrive in its aftermath. Regenerative agriculture is a prime example of this approach. Techniques like permaculture, which mimic natural ecosystems to create resilient farming systems, are being adopted by survivalists worldwide. These practices not only provide food but also restore degraded soils and capture carbon, aligning with current climate concerns. Innovations such as vertical gardens and hydroponic systems enable even those with limited space, like the urban survivalists mentioned above, to grow their own food. Renewable energy is also central to this trend. Portable solar panels, small-scale wind turbines, and high-capacity batteries are becoming staples in survival kits. Companies are developing affordable solutions, such as foldable solar chargers that can power electronic devices in emergencies. This convergence of survivalism and sustainability demonstrates that the movement is aligning with 21st century challenges, such as climate change and resource scarcity. 3. Technology, ally or threat? Technology is undoubtedly one of the most transformative factors in the future of survivalism. On one hand, it offers powerful tools to enhance resilience. Drones, for example, are being used for reconnaissance in hard-to-reach areas, allowing survivalists to map terrain or locate resources during a crisis. 3D printers are revolutionizing self-sufficiency, enabling the production of tools, spare parts, and even basic shelters using local materials. Artificial intelligence, AI, is also making its mark. AI systems can predict natural disasters based on climate data, helping survivalists prepare in advance. AI-powered apps can provide basic medical diagnoses in areas without access to doctors, using only a smartphone. These innovations are democratizing the knowledge and skills needed to survive, making survivalism more accessible to people without formal training. On the other hand, reliance on technology raises concerns. In a collapse scenario, such as an electromagnetic pulse, EMP, or a global infrastructure failure, many of these devices could become useless. This is leading to a split within the movement. While some embrace high-tech solutions, others are returning to survivalism's roots, prioritizing analog skills like celestial navigation or manual shelter building. The future will likely see a balance between these approaches, with the most successful survivalists being those who master both technology and traditional techniques. 4. Community-based survivalism and support networks. One of the most significant shifts in survivalism is the move away from the lone wolf stereotype. While individual self-reliance remains important, there's a growing recognition that long-term survival depends on community networks. This trend is driven by the realization that modern crises, like pandemics or economic breakdowns, affect entire populations and require collective solutions. Survivalist communities are emerging worldwide, often organized online before materializing in the real world. These networks share resources such as seeds, tools, and knowledge, and plan coordinated responses to emergencies. In some cases, preparatory eco-villages are being established, intentional communities designed to be self-sustaining and resilient. These villages combine agriculture, renewable energy, and local governance, offering a model for the future of survivalism. Innovation here lies in how technology facilitates this collaboration. Encrypted communication platforms like Signal or Telegram allow survivalists to coordinate plans without relying on vulnerable networks. Blockchain-based barter systems are also emerging, enabling the exchange of goods and services in scenarios where traditional currencies lose value. This trend reflects a more holistic view of survivalism, where community strength is as vital as individual preparedness. 5. Preparing for new risks. The risks facing survivalists are evolving, and the movement's future will be shaped by how it responds to these emerging threats. Climate change, for instance, is increasing the frequency and intensity of natural disasters like hurricanes, floods, and heat waves. This is driving a greater emphasis on climate adaptation, with innovations like weather-resistant portable shelters and solar-powered water purification systems. Cyberwarfare and attacks on critical infrastructure are also on the radar of modern survivalists. A successful strike on power grids or financial systems could cripple technology-dependent societies. In response, many are learning low-tech skills like ham radio communication, while others invest in backup systems, such as EMP-shielded generators. Furthermore, pandemics and biological threats remain a concern, especially after recent events exposed the fragility of global health systems. Survival kits now often include high-quality masks, advanced medical supplies, and quarantine manuals. Innovations in this area include the development of portable labs for rapid pathogen testing, which could be critical in a future with limited access to medical services. 6. Education and knowledge dissemination. Finally, the future of survivalism will hinge on how knowledge is passed to future generations. The movement is becoming more inclusive, with a growing focus on education. Online courses, in-person workshops, and even reality TV shows are popularizing survival skills, from starting a fire to building an improvised shelter. Technological innovations are accelerating this process. Virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR, are being used to simulate survival scenarios, allowing people to practice in safe environments. Interactive digital books and manuals, accessible offline, are also becoming common, ensuring knowledge remains available even in disconnected scenarios. This democratization of survivalism reflects a broader cultural shift. Preparedness is no longer seen as paranoia but as a practical skill for facing an uncertain world. Governments and organizations are starting to recognize this, with countries like Sweden and Switzerland distributing survival guides to the public as part of national policies. Conclusion. The future of survivalism is a fascinating blend of tradition and innovation. It is adapting to the realities of the 21st century, urbanization, climate change, technological advances, and new risks, while retaining its core of self-reliance and resilience. Trends like urban survivalism, sustainability, the strategic use of technology, the power of communities, and preparation for emerging threats show that the movement is more relevant than ever. The innovations accompanying these trends, from hydroponic gardens to reconnaissance drones, encrypted community networks to VR simulations, are expanding the possibilities of what it means to be a survivalist. However, the success of this future will depend on a balance between embracing these tools and preserving essential skills that don't rely on technology. In an increasingly unpredictable world, survivalism isn't just about surviving, it's about building a future where humanity can thrive, no matter the circumstances. And remember, always be prepared.